my opinion, this is a further admission.
Hey, garage people. Coming back at you with a new vehicle here. We got the Trailblazer up on the lift, and I started a little bit of progress without you guys, but I got the wheels off. I got one of the cross members out and the front little skid plate off. And I have the steering rack loose, but I still have to rotate it a quarter turn, the steering wheel, so I can get, there's a bolt in here, let me show you. So, that bolt right up there holds the slip shaft on for the steering, so I'll take that out, and then I can pull this bolt out right here, which I already have loose, and then the rack should drop down, and then I can take the lines off of the front side here, and then get to replacing the lines that I have right there on the front of the four-wheeler there to the reservoir and the pump, because I'm pretty sure the lines are what's leaking. So, and then the rack was leaking as well, so replace the whole thing. So hopefully we'll get back at this tomorrow. If you are looking at this and thinking, my God, that's rusty, well, I'm jealous of you that you don't live in Minnesota, because this is pretty dang good for up here. See, got some rust on the floor, but you know, it's really not bad. So yeah, hopefully we can finish this up tomorrow. I'll bring you guys along for the ride when I've got the this rack out and everything disconnected, and I'll show you what I need to do for the install. So the other thing we got going is the Camaro is sitting over here instead of over here, so I have a space to work. And I had a little bit of a coolant leak coming out of the heater hose line there, so I re-secured that and put some silicone on it. That should be just fine. It only dripped out a tiny little bit of coolant, maybe like half a cup or so while it was idling, and got fully hot, so not worried about it. I was just like, ah, god dang it. So drained it out, pulled that off and replaced it, or siliconed it and popped it back on there. And it's sitting in here overnight to let the silicone fully cure before I start the engine up. So that's just great. Here's the Trailblazer. And yeah, so I'm going to keep plugging away at this. Probably tomorrow, like I said. I think I'm about to head inside and get some food. But yeah, so far so good. The rust didn't really impede very much. Got all the bolts out. And yeah, here's my Lingenfelter box, which I talked to someone on the phone today. And they said, yeah, that's probably not right, but they didn't give me anyone else to talk to. So hopefully I can talk to someone else soon. Or else just order another box preemptively, which I kind of think I might do, just because, yeah, that's the solution I want. So, might go on Lingenfelter and order another box, but I might not. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, I could talk to someone soon. Left a message at DRM. Maybe can get this guy tuned sometime this fall rather than next spring. But if it has to go next spring, that's no big deal. Doesn't matter too much. Yeah. Oh, other than that, one cool thing, I got my switches working. Watch this. Boop, boop, boop. Sweet. I'm a big fan of that. Got all three switches. One for the rev limiter, one for the bottle heater, and one for the nitrous. So everything was functional there. So yeah, I'll bring you guys along for the ride on this tomorrow when I've got it when I'm going again. But hopefully I can have the doors open as well, because it is dark out already, and it's warming up a little bit now. But it was pretty chilly today, so I was working with the doors closed. But it's supposed to get into the 50s later this week, so might have a couple more days of doors open work. Any case, things are moving along here, and I'll get this off the lift hopefully as soon as possible, and then I can verify that it works, and then either start driving it or list it for sale. So good stuff either way. But yeah, keep tuning in, and we'll be back tomorrow for more adventures with the Trailblazer. And if you're wondering how to change a steering rack in one of these things, this episode will be for you. Hey, 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 garage people. Coming at you from under the hood of the Trailblazer. We've been doing some work here. As you can see down here on the ground, I've got a few things taken apart. I've got the windshield washer fluid reservoir, the air intake, the air box, and the steering rack, the old one with the tie rod ends there. My new steering rack is under here with the steering shaft installed, and the new tie rod ends as well. I'm sure I'll have to get some small alignment, but I eyeballed it and measured it real good against this tie rod, these tie rods right here in the steering rack, so should be very close and ready to test for sure. So the next thing is on my power steering reservoir here. I've got a return line and a pressure line, and those two things have to come off, and they route around the front of the vehicle and down over here. I'll show you through some metal clips. You can see them, they creep along the frame right there, and then there's some metal clips right there, and then they go down through those 90-degree turns. And they come down through those two rubber hoses right there, and they end right there. So I got to go, these are them as well. So I've got to go through and remove those. Those are the old ones. You can see they've been leaking really bad. It's all oily over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those removed, and then I can go about mocking up the new ones and attaching them to the reservoir. And then once they're attached to the reservoir, I can go ahead and lift the new rack into place and attach the lines and the steering shaft, and then go ahead and get that in and fitted and tested. So I would say I'm about halfway. I'm almost done with the removal. So I got the lines to take off, and then we'll be ready to mock up and install the new stuff. So you can see my new lines here. I've got the new hold down brackets and little rubber insulators or isolators. Got the power line and the return line, and then I think I actually purchased an extra line by mistake. I just wanted to make sure I had them all, but I think this one was just something extra or optional or a cooler line. I don't know, we'll see. But in any case, I think I'm going to steal the clip off one end and then use it on there, and we should have full coverage from our rack to our reservoir on the front end of this Trailblazer. So it's pretty easy. If you were around with me in part one, I'll catch you up real quick. There's this little skid plate over there, and the the steering little frame cross member. And these are the bolts from the passenger side, and these are from the driver's side. And those basically all remove with a 19 and a 15 millimeter. These just hold the airbox in, so disregard them. These are the bolts that hold the steering rack in, actually. There's one on each side. And the only really difficult part, if you have a lift and an impact gun, that is, the only really difficult part was getting a socket in here, in that recess right there, where the bolt goes through to attach. There's a nut on that end, and then the bolt exits over on the other side of the frame rail. That's what I accessed with my impact gun. But if you can see on the CV shaft right there, there's a kind of a notch, and if you position that just right, you can get a socket, an impact socket, and a breaker bar on there, and then hit it on the other end with your impact gun, and make quick work of that. So if that was intentional, I love it, and if it was accidental, I'm thankful for it. So good to go there. And yeah, it's been pretty simple so far. Here's the intake on our Atlas 4.2 Vortec engine. So yeah, I'm going to attempt to get those lines off, and we will mock up our new ones and hopefully get this installed by this weekend. It's only Tuesday, so should be just fine, but I was extremely lazy today and hardly did anything. So yeah, we'll see how that pans out. But so far, so good. I'm hopeful for the rest of it. So stay with me, and we'll keep you posted. Sweet.
Jordan then continues recounting what he saw, explaining that when he stepped out after
Hey, garage people. I'm back in here with the Trailblazer, And I got some new parts and some old parts. This is the finishment, I guess. Finishment, whatever the heck that means. The commencement of the installation and the completion of the removal. So that's the old rack with the tie rod ends on it and all the old lines. Here's the new lines and the new rack with the tie rod ends on it. And the steering stub shaft already installed. So what I'm going to have to do eventually is get these up in there and then the rack, and I will plug everything together. So you can see the old one matches the new one, except for where I cut the old one right here just to make it easier to get out. How this works is these two ends plug in right here, and this one is for the pressure line from the pump to the rack, and this one is from the rack to the cooler, and then this one is from the cooler back to the reservoir. So I actually will need that third line that I was talking about earlier. I didn't know this thing had a power steering cooler, which, hey, more power to Chevy, I suppose. One more place to leak. But also, cooler power steering fluid is good, but yeah, there's one more place to leak. But in any case, got the old stuff out pretty easily. It'll be a little bit of a challenge fitting the line from the rack to the pump, just because that has to go in a little further and up over the shock tower on the other side. It kind of goes up and over like this, and the back is down here to the rack, and the front is up here, and then it goes to the frame rail and crosses over, but on the other side of the vehicle, if you can imagine that. So just a mirror image. But I got everything out pretty good, or without too much trouble. I've been taking it easy on this project after getting back from Alaska, just really taking my time. So it's good I'm not getting paid by the job. But also good that, yeah, it's nice out today. It's probably almost 50, maybe, yeah, probably about 50. Got the Camaro outside for the garage space. GP's over here. I'm going to run to O'Reilly's and get some power steering fluid for this baby. Whoop, for this baby. And a couple other random things. And then do a couple errands as well. Yeah, let's see. I need some power steering fluid, some degreaser, an oil and filter for the Grand Prix because the change interval is coming up, and then an air filter for this bad boy because it was filthy, and then some pop rivets to secure some little vanity or water guide panels or whatever you want to call them, splash guards. So I'm going to take the Camaro, which will be fun because it's nice out, and it's running really good except for needing the new box and a tune, which I've got a new box on the way, so we'll see. Hopefully that cures it, because according to Lingenfelter, that box was not operating correctly, and I was like, yeah, I could have told you that. So hopefully this new one solves that. And then I got a muffler coming for the Camaro as well, so I'll throw that back up on the lift after I get this done, which hopefully will be either today or tomorrow. Yeah, other than that, not too much else to report. I feel like I had something else to say about this, but maybe I didn't. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to go make a little run, stop by Cub Foods and Menards as well, return some stuff, get some groceries, and then when I come back, I will commence putting these new lines in, so that should be fun. And I will bring you guys along for the ride when I've got the new stuff in and ready to start bolting together. I'll probably bring you guys back when I got the lines laid, ready to attach to the pump and the reservoir, and then I will be ready to put the rack in, because what I'm going to do is lift the rack up, put one bolt in the side so the other side can angle down. Then I think I can attach those fittings to there and then angle it up and slide the steering shaft on and then put the other bolt through. So that's my plan. If I have to wait for Jenny to get home or something, for if I need another set of hands, we'll take that approach, but I think I can probably get it. So, but anyway, yeah, then the rest of this stuff will just have to get installed, the coolant, the washer fluid reservoir and the air box, but all that's just superfluous, and then I'll just have to connect some connections under the hood and make sure some cables are properly routed. So, but yeah, good stuff there. Pretty simple, pretty sweet. Hopefully it'll all work out. I'm gonna run to the town. See you guys later. Hey, garage people, coming back at you. Hey, Chevelle, coming at you soon. Still here with the Trailblazer, but we got good news. The lines are all in, and we just have to install the rack and then plug in what we need to plug in to fire it up and test things out. And then if it's all gravy, then we put the air box and the fluid back, or the washer fluid reservoir back in, the rest of the air box, and the cross member and everything. So far so good. I will turn you guys around and show you what's what. Woo! Shout out Wendigoon. So here's the cross member I cleaned up, and there's the rack. There's my light. So, as you can see, 2 new lines there. The return line to the bottom of the reservoir is right there and secured with a clip. And the pressure line is screwed into the bottom of the pump with an O-ring fitting on the end there. And they run across the bottom. They tuck in, kind of see right down there and around, goes through there and into the cooler, which is sandwiched in here. Creep around to this side. And you can see the lines plug into the cooler right there. And then they come up to here. Actually, this bottom one is the one that goes across to the reservoir. And this top one is the one that is the return side of the pump, because it goes from the pump from the pump through that top line into the rack, and then from the rack into this top line into the reservoir, and then from the reservoir or into the cooler, and then from the cooler through this bottom line back to the reservoir, and then to the pump again. So these lines go up here and up over the top and down. And I was actually able to get the shorter one that goes from the rack to the cooler in from this access right here. And the longer one I fed up all the way through the bottom and up and over. And it was just enough space to get it in there, and it worked great. So I was happy with that. Everything settled in as it should, and I didn't have to remove anything else underneath here. So yes, that definitely can be done if you're looking to do it yourself. This is all you need to remove. That long line wouldn't quite fit in over the shock tower because of this weird little bend right here. And there's another bend that goes down this way after that 90. And it's just too long. So that one had to get fed up and through, but as you can see, it worked. So that was pretty cool. Otherwise, I would have had to deal with all this stuff, and I didn't want to do that. I just loosened it up as much as I could with removing some anchor bolts and then disconnecting some plugs. But nothing is permanently removed. Like, obviously I disconnected the battery and then the lead to the fuse block just so stuff would move around, but that was it. So I am going to cruise back over here. So it's kind of tight. But I got enough space to do what I need. So that's good. So next on the project we got, let's see, those are tightened. So I'm going to put the rack up. And we will install the fittings on the end there, and then we will put the steering column back in. And then once we get that up and in, we can tighten the 2 bolts on the sides here, and then go about returning back up to the top here and securing all of the wires, and then securing the lines to their, or the hoses, I guess, if you will, to their little anchor points on the frame so they don't rattle around. And then we can test stuff out. So I'm not sure if I'll get to that tonight or not. I believe Jenny's on her way home, but we'll definitely get to it tomorrow, and we will hopefully get this thing off the lift tomorrow. We definitely should, because there are parts coming from Summit tomorrow for the Camaro and the Chevelle. I'll talk more about the Chevelle when they get here. I'm going to do an episode on that, hopefully. And then the Camaro, I've got a new Lingenfelter box coming, and then a Magnaflow muffler to hopefully quiet things down a little bit without the cutout open for the best of both worlds. So we'll get that up on the lift, hopefully, put the muffler on, and then I gotta take off some spacers on the rear to give the bump stops a little more clearance. So put the exhaust on, pull the wheels off, do that, put the wheels back on. The exhaust will be done, then I'll lower it back down. We can slap that Lingenfelter box in, and hopefully that'll work. And then I was out for a drive today before it got dark, and yeah, the Camaro is running very, very well. It needs work below 2,000 RPM to just idle better and catch itself, and maybe a little bit reduction of the cam surge if possible. but it is so close, you guys. It's like, I would say more than 95% of the way there. It runs real good. It holds solid at 12.0 AFR, wide open, so it's very safe there, so I'm happy about that. Yeah, we got a little bit of a sunset going on, so yeah. I'm gonna hang up this video for now, and I will come back at you guys when I've got the rack bolts in and stuff is bolted. The rack is in, the lines are secured, and these things are back together before I put the air box on and stuff ready to test it. So that is right here, and that is next. So yeah, I'll come back at you guys with that, and then we'll have a little bit of testing, and we'll wrap this project up and maybe get this bad boy on the market, or maybe put some rust protection on it. I haven't really decided yet. Well, I think I'm going to do both. I'm going to list it, and then I'm going to say, if you want to buy it, I can also rust protect it. So that should be pretty good. Once I have the steering fully functional before I take this off the lift, I'm going to take some pictures of it underneath, and then I will wash it off a little bit and vacuum it out a little bit, and then take a couple more pictures, and it'll be ready for listing. So stay tuned for that. Good stuff, guys. Hey, garage people. This is the face of someone who just got done being extremely frustrated and finally conquered his beast. Got some Mythbusters on the TV for some nice ambiance in the background. But let me show you what I'm dealing with on the Trailblazer here, and I'll show you what my plans are coming up after I put you back down here. But a little brief update. Let me turn you around. So, the hardest part that I just had, so I got this side in. Obviously, this is the new rack. Saw that yesterday. These lines right here are a very tight fit. They scraped a little, but they're still intact, so they'll be fine. But the hardest part was getting the lines. Where's the light? Come on. Yeah, so those two silver lines with the 90-degree right there, those are what bolt into the rack. And getting those both to line up, there's the second one. Getting those both to line up and punch into the little seals and then get the bolt in was maddening. So finally got it done. This needs to lower back down just a little bit here to line up with the bosses. And then I'll slide that bolt back through, get that one locked in, and then get the tie rod on this side, or the end link, yeah, tie rod, end link, whatever you want to call it. And then I will go about getting the subframe bolted back in and go under the hood and put that stuff back in. And then I'll test this bad boy out. So I'll come back at you guys hopefully very shortly now. I don't think it'll take too long. That was the hard part. And then the other good part for today, I haven't been outside yet. Let's open the door here for a sec and see. It may or may not. Hey, it's sunny now. All right, I'll leave this door open then. May or may not have showed up yet. Looks like not yet. We got 2 boxes on the way, one from UPS, one from FedEx, both from Summit. So, yeah, oh my gosh, it's beautiful out here right now. Oh man, I'm so glad I opened the door. All right, I'm gonna push the 4-wheelers out and start finishing, or push the 4-wheeler and the lawnmower out, open this door for some light, and finish up on this to hopefully get it off the lift ASAP, and then I can start messing with the Camaro when the parts come. So, yeah, good stuff. Come back at you shortly. Much frustration, much avoiding. Hey garage people! Coming at you from maybe the last nice day of the year, if your definitions of nice are like mine. It's currently 10:45-ish a.m. or so, and it's going to be almost 70 degrees here today. So I am going to take full opportunity and have the doors open for as long as possible. Got the machines out, give me some space in the garage, the Camaro's back in there. And the Trailblazer is out here. And if I'll turn you around here and show you what I'm looking at. No leaks underneath. I had it parked here all night. Drove it around the driveway a little bit. And everything was good. It will almost certainly still need an alignment, since those tie rod end lengths are new on both sides, and I just eyeballed it. But I'm going to move it back into its temporary resting spot over here. I'll demonstrate to you guys the fruits of my labor. I want to see about getting a key fob for this, because I don't currently have one. It would be nice. So, key in. This battery needs a... Oop, see, and that's the wrong key. One of them works the locks and the other one does ignition. This battery is going to need a charge, so I'll rig that up. Crank's a little slow, but she fires right up. And that steering wheel's nice and easy to turn. No whine. Oh yeah, look at that. All the way to that side. Well, not all the way, but she's working. Got no no leaks, no whines. Nothing nasty. Can even drive it with one hand. Oh yeah, check that out. Pretty sweet. And yeah, it goes backwards too. So, next up with this is, like I was talking about, was the alignment. But also, when I had it on the lift yesterday, I was just checking the systems to make sure that everything was happy. And wouldn't you know it, the four-wheel drive does not work. Let's see if I can demonstrate here. Turn it to 4, and you can hear the little actuator move, but we'll see if it does it when I put it into gear here. I guess you can't tell because it's on the ground, but on the lift, the wheels would free spin, or the rear wheels would spin, the front wheels would not spin, and it was making this weird clicking sound like it was trying to engage but couldn't. Even though you can kind of hear it working. I tested out the actuator and it seemed to do something, but I think it's just not working as it should, unfortunately. So, that being said, I got another actuator on order from RockAuto, because that's the cheapest and easiest way to, or not RockAuto in particular, but the actuator is the low-hanging fruit for this particular problem. It sits right up behind the steering column there and connects to, or behind the sway bar there and connects to the differential. Makes it go into four-wheel drive, and it was like $50, so I got one of those. It'll be here soon. And I'll pop that in, and hopefully that solves it. And if it doesn't, then I gotta look further into the problem, which is basically the inside of this housing behind the CV shaft. Yeah, so where that CV shaft plugs in, there's a bulkhead, and there's, I think, 6 or 8 bolts there. And then that unplugs, and there's a little fork in there that moves back and forth, I believe, to engage and disengage the front pinion, because the drive shaft spins regardless, so, or not regardless, but the drive shaft does spin, so I know that works. So, I guess this is the end of this video. I successfully replaced the steering, and for anyone watching, hopefully that'll help you out. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments, or, you know, message me or whatever. But it was a little bit of a pain in the butt, but it's possible to do at home for sure. It was the first time that I'd ever done it, so. My plans for this vehicle are fix the four-wheel drive, clean it up, put some gas in it, and drive it around for a little while, and then probably list it for sale. So we'll keep you guys posted on that one. As far as the Camaro is concerned, sometimes you got to do things your own way. And what I ended up doing was, to diagnose my Lingenfelter timing box issue, was buy another one from Summit, which the part number is very slightly different. So, I don't know what Lingenfelter ended up changing, but the function's the same, the number on the box is the same, or the number on the module is the same. This LNC 2000, but one of them has like a 460 part number, and the other one has like a 154 part number in the middle. But the first 3 digits and the last 3 digits are the same. And I got no help from Lingenfelter or anyone. I left a bunch of emails and voicemails, and no one got back to me confirming or denying whether my other box was faulty. So I had to buy another one from Summit, and my other one I purchased in April, so I couldn't return it. So I bought this one from Summit, plugged it in, tested it, and what do you know, it worked perfectly, just like it's supposed to, like I thought it would. So that meant my system was correct the whole time. I got a faulty box, and I'm gonna package up my old one, well I already did, and send that one back to Summit and get the refund for the other one. So it's not what I like to do, but I'm doing it regardless. And yeah, that thing's $300, so wasn't trying to fuck around with a broken one. That was not my fault. Also, test fitted this muffler last night, and it is too big. It is a MagnaFlow with a 6-inch can, and that can is just too fat to fit where my little SLP muffler sits. So I might try a 5-inch one, because mine is currently 4 inches across. So if I could maybe fit a 5-inch one, that'd be cool. So I might see if that'll fit, but both of these things are getting returned. And then I've also got some goodies in here for the Chevelle, so stuff is upcoming. The only other thing that I'm doing to the Camaro now is I took off the bump stop limiters, so I got a little more travel before it hits the bumps. Behind the wheels, there was just these blocks in between the stops and the bodies. So I took that off, so I gained about another inch, half inch of travel, so I've got about 2 inches before it hits the bump stops, so that's pretty sweet on the front. On the back is perfect. On the front, I think I'm probably going to have Mitch make me some spacers for the coils so it sits up maybe a little higher. I think I'll see if he can make me 2 for each side and have them each be a 1/4 inch, so I can kind of test it with a 1/4 inch and then put it up to a 1/2 inch if I want to. But I'm hoping for about one more finger's width of clearance, about right there. So not quite as big as back here, but similar. You can see that is a little lower than that. And I want them about the same, just so this doesn't rub when it bumps. And then it'll give me a little more clearance on the bottom for my cutout, and then hopefully help the front from scraping over when I go down some, parking lot embankments and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so far so good around here. Really pleased to make progress with the Trailblazer and the Camaro too. I was really happy that Lingenfelter box worked. The only other thing that I'm going to do today is replace this switch right here with this switch in this box, because this one rattles and I don't want that. So got to pull that one off, undo some zip ties and some trim panels, and cut those wires, solder that one in, and redo it. So pretty easy. But yeah, that's the end of that. So I'm gonna get to that, then I'll go and get some gas, do a little grocery run, call DRM again and see if their schedule is open for the fall, because this car is done. It is ready for a tune once again with the LS6 and the fully upgraded functions. But if not, I'll drive it around a little bit in the next week or so here, and then it'll probably just be sitting until spring. So we'll see what comes of that. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time. We'll see if we can't get this Trailblazer going back in 4-wheel drive. But so far, so good. She works like I was intending with the steering. So, see ya.